Right, welcome back to the big question. We are talking tonight about the problem that is the KCSE exam leakage. Keep talking to us on 22422 on Twitter using the hashtag the big question. Our guest tonight, the chair of the Departmental Committee on Education, also County-Woman Representative for Muranga, Honorable Samida Chege, and Kibra MP, also a member of the Departmental Committee on Education. Kenoko, thank you so much, both of you, making time for the big question tonight. Let's take a look first at what you're saying, your feedback on Twitter. What are you saying about this topic or discussion tonight? Sam says, an overhaul of NEC inevitable. It's very unfair when some have an unfair advantage. David Maina, disbanding NEC won't solve the issue. Police are solely responsible for selling the papers. Police have denied that, of course. Joseph Tien, with the exam leakage, how will NEC mark and rate students? And Eliud Karobia, NEC should stop blaming teachers. No teacher access the exam before it's completed. I'll read one text here. Thomas from Chuka University says, a new NEC body should be formed because the current one actually knows its members are the ones who are involved in leaking. That's why they are insisting there are fake papers circulating. The government is doing zero work arresting innocent students and teachers. And I'll start with you because you've talked today about removal of the current officials of NEC. You think that will solve the problem?
Yes, I think the current leadership of NEC does not inspire confidence. The situation is on a negative trend. Things are not getting better year by year. The situation is worse today than it was maybe 5 years ago. We are facing cheating and leakage of monumental proportions under their watch. Yet it is also at a time, Honorable Sabina and I sit on the committee that budgets and helps NEC. And we've given them a record amount of money this year, including paying fees for children in public schools. So taxpayers are not getting value for their money, and I think these people have been overwhelmed by the task. They have betrayed the trust and the responsibility. They need to go home, and a new team of professional people who can inspire confidence, who can bring new ideas and show commitments for the times we're living in, the technological adjustment, the pedagogical adjustment, international best practices. Bring in new people, not people who are used to doing business as usual. Right, of course, this came after your meeting with the Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor Jacob Kaimenyi today. I take it that it's not a position of the Departmental Committee? No. Do you agree with this?
Well, I think we need to look at it wholesomely. It's not just about disbanding NEC, because we have had examination cheating from the many years back, and now we have a new CEO, and though the new CEO will come up with and so maybe we can even get a new team which will still do the same.
Right.
I'm thinking what we need to do is relook at our education system the way it is, and looking at that we depend on one examination after 8 years of study, and again after 4 years of study you have again one examination. So there's pressure between the teachers, the students want to perform, the parents want their students to pass, and I think the whole system, education, the way we are running our education in Kenya is not the right one, and we need to relook at it and ask ourselves, do we have continuous assessment? And how do we just lock out children after class 8, after 8 years, and tell them you didn't pass, so you can't go to secondary school? And we, from 1 million children who join class 1, by the transition of the children who go to Form 1, around 600.
Right.
That means then we have lost 400,000. Where are these children?
Right.
And I think we need to start asking ourselves, apart from just passing exams, what else can we do? We have to relook at it, look how we examine our children, and change the whole system. Actually changing the officials, I don't think it will help. All
right, changing the systems, people talk about it for other issues other than leakage. But in terms of leakage, talking about continuous assessment tests, they'll be set by a certain body. If the problem is leakage, they can also be leaked.
No, that's not what I mean. When you look at the exams, how they are done in other countries, if today you go back to Form 1 and look at the results of the student from a specific, let's assume alliance, from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, then you can do an average and see how the student has performed. And if a student is to be admitted in the university is able actually to look, everybody can be able to see this was the performance of the student. But what happens in our Kenyan system today? We only rely on one exam. What if we'll go back and find that this child was actually scoring an E or a D, and then finally after 4 years you're scoring an A? I think we really need to question ourselves. And what if then when that student was doing the exam, apart from just the leakage, maybe one fell sick, or they did not have advantage of getting the leakage, and so they don't perform well. So what happens? What have you done to that child?
So according to your It shouldn't be. The blame should not necessarily be on NEC only.
Not only NEC. We need to relook at the whole education sector. We need to look at the education system. We know there's a problem. I'm not saying that there's no problem. NEC has a problem with the leakage of exams. And again, today when we met NEC, they gave us the whole process on how the exams are set, all the way to the way the exam gets into the, the testing center. And throughout the whole, it's like a journey. Yes. It's a channel. And there's blame game. There's the blame game between the NEC officials. Then from NEC officials, then if it's secure, then there's the police. If it's not the police, then there's the teachers. Then there are the teachers colluding, their parents sending the SMSs to their children. So it's a whole murky business. And I'm thinking we are pressurizing our children so much by giving them only one exam. Okay. And that's why the leakage is so high.
Right.
There is no place NEC can hide. NEC, the current officials need to go home. They need to go home like yesterday. They're not entitled to those jobs. They have failed. They need to go home. There is no place to hide. They're not doing the country a favor. And I think it is high time all leaders in this country listened carefully. Because when we bring this motion that has been moved by Honorable Kisoi, and it comes to the debate, you will hear the voice of the country. This is an issue from across the country. In every constituency,
NEC is solely to blame. It couldn't have happened at any other level. My friend,
the law NEC Act 2012 says in section 10, it is the duty of NEC to hold as custodians, to set a standard and protect the exams and their integrity. They have failed in that duty when their exams are being leaked. Right. Wherever in the chain,
it doesn't matter.
Whoever their patterns are, I think they must be held accountable. That is the starting point.
Right.
There is no point holding one innocent child or 200 innocent children in one school, like Chavakali High School. Right now, 600 children are sitting the exam because the exams were cancelled for 300 children last year.
Yeah.
Where did NEC fail to begin with? NEC is the one with the money, with the mandate, with the legal power. They have lacked creativity. Right. The problem is getting worse. They have not shown us any improvement. That's why I'm saying NEC must be held accountable, and that body, the people in it must go. We need to get a new team.
That has happened over the years.
And it's
only that
worse.
Now people are saying it's getting worse.
It is of monumental proportion. So it's a national catastrophe.
If it's happened over the years, and you're saying there are different levels, I mean, from the time the exam papers leave at the headquarters here to go to the counties and all the constituencies and ultimately the schools, you're saying at whatever point the blame should be on NEC. If we have new officials and it happens again, because it's happened for several years in this country, will you overhaul the system again? Will you remove all the officials of NEC again?
Hussein, that's a very big if down the road. Let me tell you right now, let us deal with the problem of today. You know, what I'm saying right now here is that this is a serious time. They call for serious action. NEC has failed now. Let us not say another NEC in future might fail. Get rid of this chairman and his team, get rid of this CEO and his team, put in other professionals who are serious, and let them rehaul the system. You remember we were told Jubilee was coming in as a digital government. I like that expression, digital government. In a time of change, systems and innovations. For instance, one of the points they keep saying or hinting is let us shift the blame to the police. It's the police who keep these papers in their armories and take pictures of them in the dark. The question I'm asking you is billions of shillings gets moved in this country by private security company. Very little of it gets lost. Why can't we change the system and think of it and see how can you privatize and hold to contract the private companies who bid? Let's say a company like Securico bids to deliver the papers for Nairobi or 10 counties. They must deliver, and if there is problems in their counties with their papers, their contract is cancelled, they breach the contract, they don't get paid. But if you're saying you're relying on a policeman who for 21 days will be in a remote outpost in Marsabit, for example, supervising exams, and you're paying them only 520. You know, so it's not a budget issue. There's a lack of creativity. They're doing the same old things, and the world is getting smarter than them and outsmarting them.
You actually quoted as blaming this on the police.
Yeah.
Why?
Blame the police only. What I just said is that, Hussein, we have a very dishonest society. And, you know, we can blame NEC. NEC are also individuals. They are Kenyans. They're also parents.
And so custodians of this exam.
NEC is not, you know, the way we want to mention NEC as a body, you know, they're individuals who work there. And I want to remind my brother that we have a new CEO in NEC, because he's not the one who managed the exams last year. So we can keep on changing individuals. But there's a process. We have a very dishonest society. NEC said they're the ones who said that the exam is being leaked. through the phones and through WhatsApp, and we have seen all this circulation. And Hussein, when I, even as a member of parliament, I receive that paper, whether it is the real one or not, then I start circulating. I'm also guilty. And I think we need to start. I said the police at the police station where the hammer is, there's leakage. But even when
there is leakage,
there is.
Can you confirm that? I mean, what evidence? We actually had.
2 policemen have already been arrested. What more evidence do you want?
They have been arrested. It doesn't mean they have been prosecuted and found guilty to have done this.
I don't do the work of the prosecutor. They will do their work. But already.
So it is alleged.
Two policemen have been arrested. We have 80 students. We have 29 teachers. We have actually even a parent who was arrested, because what the police are doing, and they're the same ones who are investigating, is that they are trying to trace the source of these SMSs, the source of these WhatsApp. So what I'm saying, even as a parent, when you also buy a phone and give your child to go with you to school, then you send the message, we are all guilty. And it is a society that we are dishonest. So let's relook at the system. Let's look at where we are not going to be so vulnerable. At this point, we are saying, we are pressuring our children. If he moves the motion, because right now the exams are going on. Yes, they're going to move the motion, which I know many people will support. Yes. But at what point...
Why do you think many people support?
They will support because of what we have seen. It is in the media. People are very annoyed. For sure, even today in the committee. Personally, I'm not happy what is happening. So we'll look at the easiest exit route and the easiest person to blame. But as we keep on blaming each other, we should relook at the whole education system and ask ourselves, when did the rain start beating us? As you have said, cheating has not started today. What has happened now is because of the technology. So we're able to access these papers on WhatsApp. WhatsApp was not there a few years ago. We're able to see
but then the opposite can also be argued. If cheating didn't start today, and if according to you this society is dishonest, NEC should have upped their game, if they know that. I agree they should have upped their game. It has not happened. What I am saying, even when we change, when people have ways and innovations, it's happening. We have very bright also society. They can change. So that means even next year and the other year, we'll still have these challenges. And there's no way one day we'll say we have totally fought and we have this, this perfect NEC. There'll be no leakage in any exams. You think that can happen? It will not happen. Leakage of massive proportion like this is unacceptable. Or a lot of things that Honorable Sabina is saying are just, I'm glad with her. It's my chair, be careful what I say. I agree with her, let's start talking solutions. She's very concerned about who to blame and whether any system we have, like she's doubting we can get a good system. I, on the other hand, think that what is at stake is so important that I'm not employed as a member of parliament oversighting the education sector to feel sorry for the individuals at NEC. Those people have failed. When they have failed, we give them a C and send them home. When our children fail exams, they give them a C and they are denied entrance to university. These people have failed in their job to protect these exams. They need to go. We need a credible team in, which will come in with creative solutions. And there are solutions. I think there's one of them that's very important we have to agree on. Strategically, we have to move away, especially in the Form 4 exam. Class 8 exam has to be a measurement yardstick to know how much the children have learned. But as per the Constitution, every child should be guaranteed entrance to Form 1 up to Form 4. What we're seeing now is KCPE Class 8 exam is being used as a kuchuja to sieve out some children and deny them their right to education up to Class 12, Form 4. That is a problem we need to sort. That's a different issue. But on the issue of Form 4, it is international standards and best practices we're looking at here. Hussein, you don't want the day when, God bless you in the future, that your children have studied in the 844 system and wants to go to Harvard University or Oxford University, and they are told they have to take another exam to prove that they have standards of Class 12. Because the Kenyan system is so rotten. I say let's start fixing it now. Let us come up with a more comprehensive system where the exam that you do at the end is just one portion of it. Let us embrace the good idea that Honorable Sabina here and I have already discussed before. Come in with every term from Form 1 to Form 4. Your results are recorded. When you get a living certificate, it is actually a transcript of your performance over the full 4 years. We can do the record keeping. It is cheap. It won't cost us any more money, and it will matter. It will tell us something about a child's whole performance and learning in 4 years. We can tell this child in Form 2 was suffering depression. In Form 3 they picked up and blossomed. But you cannot tell that with one exam at the end of Form 4. All right, as you gave us the solutions, as you wind up, I want us to look at some clips here. You've had the chance of the committee to meet both NEC and the ministry, but this is what happened since last week when all these reports of leakages or leakage in the exam came out. The first reaction from the NEC CEO, Dr. Kivilu.
This exam is credible now, and it will continue being credible until we issue certificates to the 2015 candidates. Sure. Don't trust whatever trash you are getting in the WhatsApp.
He said then, don't trust whatever trash you get in the WhatsApp. And then on Saturday, this is what again Dr. Kivilu said, almost now acknowledging this is happening.
We cannot say that there is no possibility of our system being cracked. Just the way you have technology, we are now having problems with WhatsApp, which was not there. So it only needed us to move to a point we were told someone was caught with papers, right? And you will arrest that person. Now, the minute you get whatever is purported to be the true copies of the paper, you put it, you send it even to some people who may not need it because they are not candidates.
Over the weekend, that is Dr. Kivilu now talking about the possibility that this could be happening, and today Professor Jacob Kaimenyi before the committee led by, of course, Sabina Chege and the MP here, the member of Kibra.
Madam Chair, I talked to the NEC chair as well as the CEO, and he told me categorically that indeed what you are saying there, and basically fake papers, which are made to look as if they are original, which is not true. And we are going to, again, I'm going to investigate this and get the proper information. I've asked them to give me a confidential report by this afternoon.
Dr. Kivilu was actually, we tried to look for him today, but he told us, with apologies, he was out of town. He was supposed to be part of the discussion on the big question tonight. Did they handle this well? From some quarters, they're very angry with how this has been handled. Do you think it was handled well?
Well, it was not handled well, because even today, as when we were seated at the committee, there were some of the members of parliament who had the question papers, and we agreed for sure there was like one, was it on theory, there was one question paper. Even the way the questions are phrased, you would know that is not really a true copy. So, but some, and I think there was a mathematics paper, there were several papers that even the media verified that whatever was circulating was the real thing. And I think the first thing I asked the cabinet secretary, one, did you warn the public? Because I think it's good for the public to know, once you start circulating these things, if the police are looking, once they start looking for the culprits, you can be arrested. Yeah. Secondly, have they warned also the candidates that if you receive this material, and then, because NEC also today in their presentation, they said when they are marking the papers, they are able to tell. How, I don't know, but they said they are able to tell the candidates who are cheating, who had maybe previous information or who are copying from each other. They said they are able to tell, and ask them, have you done any sensitization to the candidates? And tell them that please do not, even when you get this, whatever is circulating, don't have a look at it, or don't look at it. Have you sensitized the parents not to send even these materials to their children? They have not done it. So for sure, we're not happy how it has been handled. Where they promised that they're going to give us a report in 2 days, and they promised that they are now working, they have already gotten a lot of lead, and they are following, and they are trying to streamline and make sure that this examination is not going to be leaked. They actually said from last week to this week, things are becoming better now. Okay. We are hoping then we'll not have other stories of exams being leaked. That is, we're just praying for it.
Right, let's get then the final comments now in terms of solutions to this. What way forward? Of course, you're already talking about removing the officials from NEC. That is one way. Any other solutions you have to this?
I think we as leaders have been entrusted with a duty. We must discharge it fully. It's like the coffee cup here. If you're given a coffee cup, wash it as best as you can, and let it be the cleanest coffee cup in the world. If you're given an exam council to run it to be the most professional, and don't tell us the past, it was there was problems, so you're wallowing in mediocrity and accepting that because there have been problems, we should accept their problems, and telling us that because it's run by human beings, it will also be a problem in the future, therefore we should leave you. The fact of the matter is whether this CEO is relatively new on the job or not. This weekend, when he's paid his salary, he will bank it and accept it from Kenyan taxpayers who he's failing. So he needs to go, and then strategically, overall, we need to address this as an education committee, the minister in charge, and all the educators to come up with a system that's not based on only one exam, but continuous assessment, transcripts of your performance all through, and the final exam that doesn't count for everything. So we can do better for our children, and I want to reassure the parents that we're not sleeping on the job. We will hold NEC accountable for the absolute failure they've done this year.
All right, Honorable Sabine.
Mine is to say that we must accept that this nation belongs to us, and these are our children, and we must have a collective responsibility. As much as we push NEC to perform, we can disband it and have a new one tomorrow. As much as we push Professor Kaimenyi can be the minister today or tomorrow, the society also needs to know that they have a responsibility. If I'm entrusted by the public as a member of parliament to perform my duties, I should do it to my best. If the security personnel are entrusted by by this government and even by the taxpayers and the members of community, let them discharge their duties diligently. The same thing with the teachers. The same thing with any person at their position. Let us know that this country belongs to us. If we mess the lives of these children, we have missed a generation to come.
All right. On 22422, Agnes Tunyina, watching from Uganda, says, I agree with Muranga representative, the Honorable Sabine Chege. Our Kenyan ancient school assessment system has failed. It needs to change. Exams are guided as a crime scene, because these exams are life and death, and it shouldn't be like that. These exams cut out poor test-taking children out of panic, and yet they are geniuses. And we have Chris on the X, says, great Honorable Ken Okoth. Great topic. Let's bring professionals at NEC with no kids who will be demanding favors. The ranking was the blame first, now the police, then technology. Dishonest NEC officials who are after protecting their jobs. And Peter in Mombasa says, hi Hussein and team, I beg to differ with the disbanding idea. Let's look at a simple question. Who is making money from the leaked papers? There has been corruption in Kenya, including parliament. I suggest that we do a soul searching on a higher level and remove the money factor. Thank you all for making time for the big...
protect Parliament. Parliament is not involved in the leakage and is not the source of the leakage.
All right, okay, yes. Thank you. That is his opinion, Peter in Mombasa. And we thank you, Peter from Mombasa, for your feedback, and all of you for your feedback. Keep talking to us on 22422 and on Twitter using the hashtag #TheBigQuestion. Thank you, I guess, again for making time for the big question. We'll be back with more, including business news, after this break.